So today we will learn about the reflection of light. So can anyone tell me that what is reflection? Yes, it is the sending back of heat, sound or the light rays. Very good. Okay. Now I will discuss about the process of reflection of light. That is what happens in reflection of light. You all listen carefully, okay? And if you don't understand, then please tell me, okay? Now, first of all, we will consider a plain smooth surface. Suppose we will consider a mirror as a plain smooth surface, okay? This is the mirror, okay? Now, we will consider sun as the main source of light. Okay. Now, what happens in reflection of light? The light ray, first of all, comes from the main source of light. In our case, it is the sun. So, the light ray comes from the sun and it hits the plain smooth surface of the mirror. Okay. Just like this, the light ray comes from the sun and it hits the plain smooth surface of the mirror like this, and this light ray is known as the incident ray. This light ray, which comes from the main source of light and hits the plain smooth surface, is known as the incident ray. Okay. Now, after hitting the plain smooth surface of the mirror, this incident light gets reflected back. Okay, like this. After hitting the plain smooth surface, the incident ray gets reflected back, and this reflected back light is known as the reflected ray. Okay, this is known as the reflected ray. Now, there is a perpendicular line between the incident ray and the reflected ray. Okay. This perpendicular line between the incident ray and the reflected ray is known as the normal. Okay, this is known as normal. And now you will see that here two angle is formed. Okay, here two angle has formed. So the angle which is formed between the normal and the incident ray is known as the angle of incidence. Okay, this angle which is formed between the normal and the incident ray is known as the angle of incidence. This is known as the angle of incidence, and the angle of incidence is denoted as small I, like this. Okay. Now you will see that another angle is formed between the normal and the reflected ray. Okay, and this angle which is formed between the normal and the reflected ray is known as the angle of reflection. Okay, and this angle of reflection is denoted by small r, like this. Okay, so this is the basic thing or the basic phenomenon about the reflection of light. Okay, this light ray from the main source comes from the sun and it hits on the plain smooth surface of the mirror, and after hitting it reflected back. Okay, and this reflected ray is only responsible or which makes possible the seeing of our nearby objects. Okay, this is suppose our eye. Okay, after reflection we able to see the objects which are near around us. Okay, now this reflection of light follows two laws. Okay, if this reflection of light do not follow these two laws, then we will not able to see the objects which are near around us. So now I will tell you about those two laws. Okay, here we are saying there are two laws. The two laws of reflection of light are stated below. So the first law of reflection states that the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal to the surface of the mirror all lies in the same plane. Okay, the first law means that here you can see the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence, all three are lies on the same plane, that is on the surface of the mirror. Okay, that is all these three, that is the incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray, all three lies on the same plane. Okay, this is our first law of reflection. Okay, now the second law of reflection. The second law of reflection states that the angle of reflection is equal to the angle of incidence. Okay, you can see here in this picture, this is the angle of incidence and this is the angle of reflection. Okay, and this angle of incidence and the angle of reflection is always equal. Say for example, if the angle of incidence is 60 degree, then the angle of reflection will also be 60 degree. Okay, if suppose the angle of incidence is 60 degree but the angle of reflection is 70 degree, suppose, if it is happens, then we will not able to see the objects which are nearby around us, because it disobeys the law of reflection of light. Okay, and if the law is disobeyed, then we will not able to see the nearby objects. Okay, so if the angle, suppose if the angle of incidence is 50 degree, 60 degree, 70 degree, whatever, the angle of reflection will be same as that of the angle of incidence. Okay, so this is our second law of reflection of light. Okay, have you understood all about the reflection, how it happens, and about the law of reflection of light? Yes, everyone understood? Very good. If not, then please tell me. Okay, I will again repeat it. Okay, fine, very good. If you all have understood. So this is all about the reflection of light and the laws of reflection. Now, there are two types of reflection. Okay. Now there are two types of reflection. Okay, the first one is the regular reflection. And the second one is the irregular or the diffuse reflection. Okay, the first one is the regular reflection and the second one is the irregular or the diffused reflection. Okay, note it down. Can I rub the board? Okay, now I will discuss one by one about the regular and the irregular reflection of light. So first of all, I will discuss about the regular reflection of light. So what happens in regular reflection of light? Suppose this is a plain smooth surface. Say for example again a mirror. And what happens? The light ray, say for example from the sun, it comes from the sun and hits this plain smooth surface. Okay, and the light ray which comes from the sun and hits the plain smooth surface are parallel. Okay, just like this, the parallel light ray comes from the main source of light and it hits the surface of the plain smooth mirror. Okay, like this. And after hitting the surface, this incident ray gets reflected back like this. Okay, and after reflecting back, the image is formed here. After reflecting back, the image formation happens here. Okay, so this is regular reflection, and regular reflection is only responsible for the image formation. Okay, the light ray parallelly comes from the main source of light and hits the surface of the mirror, and after hitting, the incident ray gets reflected back, and after reflecting back, this reflected ray only responsible for the image formation here, and this regular reflection is only responsible for the image formation. Okay, this is about regular reflection. Now I will discuss about what is irregular reflection. Now what happens in irregular reflection? The surface where the incident ray gets hit, the surface is not plane. The surface where the incident ray comes and hits is irregular, just like this. Suppose this is the surface where the incident ray will come and supposed to hit. Okay, so from the main source of light, suppose sun, the incident light comes and hits the surface like this. Okay, the light ray from the sun comes parallelly and hits the irregular surface like this. Okay, after hitting this irregular surface, the incident ray gets reflected back. Okay, and that reflected light is known as the reflected ray. Okay, what happens after reflection? The light ray reflects haphazardly like this. Okay, the reflected ray gets reflected back haphazardly. So here the image formation is not possible. Okay, means here a good image will not form. So as the reflected rays are haphazard, so this type of reflection, that is irregular reflection, is also known as the diffused reflection. The irregular reflection, because of the haphazard reflected rays, is also known as the diffused reflection. And it is also known as diffused reflection because the image formation here is not good and it is not clear. So that's why is the irregular reflection is also known as the diffused reflection. Okay, so this is all about the regular and the irregular or the diffused reflection of light. I hope you all have understood.